Welcome to Spiritual Healing with Sarah Love, a high priestess of love. Today I'd like to tell you the story of how I received protection from God and certain powers of intuition. It started some time ago. I went to live in the land of Israel, and there I birthed a child. She's now in like 36 years old, 35, 36. And I had 3 grandchildren. And when the first 2, and one was 2 and one was like 4, about to turn 5, something terrible happened to my children. The P word, something terrible happened to my children. And I went seeking help, And I was a part of a group that was supposed to be about God, but when I found out the men weren't protecting the children, it registered that maybe that was the beginning of my problem. So I went to the police. I reached all type of sources over there trying to get justice for my children. And I was trying to leave there at the time, and I was having a hard time getting out of there because my grandchildren were like citizens of Israel. So I was trying to leave and take my whole family. So it was a problem getting out. Because I wasn't able to get out, I went through all those avenues, the worldly avenues, to seek justice for what happened to my children. And after some years went by, and I never received any type of justice about it, maybe because the children were too young to speak up. At that point, I started learning other things. I started seeking knowledge. And I read these books on Cryon. It's about, he channels information, like otherworldly information. And then the channeling of the information, he wrote these books. And I was reading one of the books, and the book I was reading, it was talking about love. We came here for lessons, and we were trying to remember to love one another. Love. Everything that we had to do it in love. So I took those things to heart. I stopped walking with the animosity in my heart, and I started functioning in love. I started functioning out of love. Everything I did was in love. And I registered, it connected me with some of these biblical scriptures that was talked about. And one of them was, "Revenge is mine, saith the Lord." And then Jesus said, Yeshua said, "Forgive them, for they know not what they do." Whenever you're dealing with people that have done such terrible things, you have to forgive them because you don't know. They don't know what they do. But I got a major understanding from that one in particular, is to forgive them, for they know not what they do, because they don't realize that everything that they've given out is going to return to them. Forgive them. They don't know that they getting ready to receive something. Whatever they gave out is coming back. And then one of the other scriptures is that pray for them that persecute you. And I do. At this point, and that's where I came up with that. I asked at the end, I say at the end of my dissertation, at the end of my video, is that I wish you healing. That's my prayer, because I had to come to realize that somebody hurt these people that made them turn around and hurt somebody else. And then what if it was my child? Now that my child is older, is they turning to do this? My grandchild, is he starting to do this now because somebody did this to him? Would I want him killed, or would I want him healed? So this is the process I'm talking about, functioning out of love. These are somebody's children too. So I pray that they be healed. Sometimes they say something about somebody doing time, or they do this or do that. But is it going to heal them? That's the key. We want them healed. We don't want them killed, because they somebody's child too. But we want them healed. So that's been my prayer. I wish you healing. That's how I began making these videos, because I wanted to give the keys to healing these situations so they don't continue to repeat the cycle. I'm going to go back to revenge is mine, said the Lord. Can't nobody do it like God. And then he knows a person's heart, and he knows their intentions. See, we be coming with the spirit of kill, 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 destroy them for doing that. Destroy them. Hey, heal them so they stop doing it. How I got the power and protection. I prayed about it. And what I've learned is that when you function from love and your intentions are pure, that's how God comes to your aid. And he said, revenge is mine, said the Lord. Let him take care of it. You have to move out the way. Stop trying to do everything yourself, because you won't get nowhere. I didn't get anywhere. And I tried to do everything I knew how to get justice. But I didn't get anywhere. But when I put it in the hands of God and left it and stop worrying about it. I stopped worrying about it. I gave it to him. I might have cried over it. But I stopped worrying about it. And I started with the process of how could I help people be better so they don't hurt people. And that's how this channel began. Oh, this is another scripture that I thought of. The one that say, turn the other cheek. And now everybody think that God is crazy when they say that. Everybody think that. I mean, I say 85 to 90% Other people be like, yeah, right. Turn the other cheek. But turning the other cheek and letting God deal with it, and that's when it get dealt with. That's when it get dealt with. It supersedes anything that man could do. And then last but not least, I would like to tell you about the process of forgiveness. Forgiveness is not for that person that did that act. It's to relieve your soul of not walking around carrying the burden of that. That makes your soul heavy. And there's a saying that your heart has to be light as a feather. And this is what I've worked toward. I've worked toward making my heart light as a feather. Regardless of what's been done, I gave it over to God. And in the process, can't nobody deal with revenge better than God. Can't nobody deal with it better than God. Holding grudges is heavy. You ever see those little sayings that be on Facebook where they show a person or a man or a woman walking around carrying this big old giant bag on their back? And everywhere they go, they be carrying all of that. And those are the burdens that make your life heavy. And they're not going to bring any good to you because you carrying too much stuff. You have to release it. You have to release it for your own benefit, for your own health. Because holding those grudges will make you sick on your insides. Internally, it could kill you. It'll make you so ill because you're walking around carrying all the things that hurt you instead of releasing it and forgiving. Now let's talk about that power. I've said before, we have 6 senses. It's taste, touch, smell, hearing, seeing. And the 6th one is intuition. God has blessed me to have intuition now. Sharp intuition. Listening closely, seeing closely. You start putting things together on a whole nother level with your intuition. And as somebody prays to bring something to me or send bad energy to me, I send it to God to return it to me in a blessing tenfold, to help me be able to see whatever I need to see coming. These are the powers that you receive. It's not monetary, but it don't mean that money don't be coming. But it's in God's time, and you have to learn to be patient. And I'm patient now. I didn't used to be patient. I'm an Aries. We want it now. But I've learned that the process of things happening is that God works through humans to do his will. So imagine the slowest moving person, but he need them to do something, and he talking to them, and he telling them, do something, do something, do something. He gonna keep worrying them until they do it. But it might take some time. And this is how the blessings unfold. You just have to wait for things to fall into place. You have to wait for them to fall into place, but they coming. Now, I talk about forgiveness, and I mean that. But you have to have boundaries. You can forgive people, but when they show you who they are, you have to believe them. And then you have to establish boundaries. Because if you don't establish boundaries, then they'll bleed on you again with their toxic behavior. I was watching the series Suits one time, and in the beginning of the series, the young guy that had the photogenic memory that could remember everything, he had a friend that was always getting in trouble. He was always getting in trouble. And Harvey, when he took the guy on, he told him he needed to keep a distance from him. His so-called friend, his best friend since he was a child. But when people draw crazy things to you, you have to separate yourself. You have to separate yourself to protect yourself. That's the wisdom and knowledge of God that you get. You have to set those boundaries to protect you. So, again, I'm sending you love and light, and most of all, healing. Please heal. Become better people.